everyone! So today we're going to kick off something a little different. This will be our first episode in a series where basically we're talking about the fact that we've started this DTF line, this UV DTF line, and we've always been really good at design bundles, about stepping into our customers' shoes, and you'll actually find that most of the people that work for us are crafters themselves, so they've used digital files and things like that. With DTF, since it's such a new product, there's not a whole lot of people that have successfully launched a business with it yet, or have kind of started selling things with it. And what we wanted to do was to make sure that that was feasible and a completely doable thing, but not only that, just to kind of show you guys how to start up a side hustle without, a lot of the trial and error that a lot of people have to go through when they start a business. One of the nice things about design bundles is we've started several businesses. We kind of understand the ins and outs of it. So this isn't some big operation. This isn't something we want to go global or anything like that. In fact, we really don't even want to compete with the small businesses that are local to me. The whole point to this is just to understand all of the steps that it's going to take to kind of get to the point where you can have a feasible business with DTF or UV DTF products, and to see what the selling points are and share those kind of interesting tidbits with you. So we will be going over how much we make, what the booth rental fees are, just little things like that, little things to keep in mind, how to pay yourself, all of the things that you're kind of learning as you go. We'll be learning those with you and then kind of making it into a video series so that you can be a little bit of a DTF business expert. Now for this experiment specifically, what I would like to do is focus more on the UV DTF side of things. It's just that there are a lot of shirt companies around me, and with shirts you have to worry about sizes, so you could have the perfect design, but you just don't have to put the size that that person needs. And we want to make this really easy to kind of do in just a couple hours a day or less, not a full-time job or anything like that, whereas shirt making can very easily become a full-time job, and also it's well known and there are 20 different ways to make a shirt. Whereas UV DTF is a little more unique. You have different kinds of products that you can make with it that I just don't think are being massively sold around, especially in craft fairs and things like that. I do want to say that this is not legal or tax advice. We're just really not qualified to give that, but we will be talking about different things that you need to look up or different resources that you can use to kind of find where you're at, what specifically you'll need, because there's so many ins and outs of it, whether you collect tax, things like that, that you'll need to find for your own area that are not going to match my area. So we'll be glossing over those a bit, but still following obviously the local ordinances for our company. We are building this from ground up. So for our video today, step one is the fun part. It's setting up the name and the logo, little intricacies like that. I think today specifically we're just going to do we're going to figure out the name and we're going to figure out a logo. I have a couple ideas in mind, but I'm actually going to use some AI resources just to kind of make that a little bit smoother, to get some taglines, just to plan out my business a little bit. And then the next episode we'll actually be talking about sourcing blanks. So I guess one thing that I do want to kind of back up and add in here, the DTF and the UV DTF, which again I'm going to focus more on the UV DTF aspect. The UV DTF that I'm going to be using in most of this is stuff from our big mega bundle sales. We have a lot of it. We want to use it up. We don't want it to go to waste. So we're going to be using those on the products and then kind of using the products there. But that will also give us an easy way to kind of price things out, since we know that most of those end up being about $1 a decal. We can price that into we can work that into what we're pricing our final product. Okay, so I'm going to use ChatGPT. What we're looking for is, I'm just going to give it as much context as I can. So I am going to start a UV DTF business selling keychains. Bookmarks, ornaments. What other things can I put my DTF on? Signs and more. I need a cute name. is easy to remember and has some kind of mascot to it, like an animal, so that I can make some fun graphics and logos for it. Now typically I would give Chatty just a little bit more than this, but with this being so open-ended, I want to just see where it's at this point. So it's given us some cute ideas. I don't love that it's really pushing the word decal, just because we're not selling decals, we're selling finished products that have decals on them. So we really want to avoid like decal and sticker. Craftsy Koala is kind of cute, but it doesn't necessarily get where I want to go. Luna Bunny Go, I like that one. I like this Pippin print as well, but I'm worried that print kind of indicates that we are just like directly printing things for people. And one thing with this is I'm not going to be doing custom orders just yet. Like I said, we really want this to be something that you can do like a couple hours a day max and still make a little bit of side cash. Milo makes, I don't know why Milo, Kiki creates, it's just coming up with names at this point. Can we try something that maybe pushes less on the decal sticker? Being as we are selling finished products, and we want to make that clear. Now up here it says finished giftable products, and actually I want to use that in our name because I like the idea of this being like a gift business. So let's say, can you work the word gift? Ooh, I really like this Fantastic Gifts. Maybe Fantastic Gifts Co. I just like the idea of having Co after. Some of these are a little silly. So it's did a few that I kind of like. I like Fantastic Gifts and the fact that I can use a little deer. That's kind of, it's a cute animal that's maybe not always used. Whereas, you know, you see fox and bunny in almost every craft everything. Owl is really well used as well. So let's say I like Fantastic Gifts, but I want it to be very elegant. Can you come up with a logo for me? Now likely I'm not going to use the exact logo that they give for this, but it is just going to give me an idea of where we want to go with the logo. Otherwise I would be really specific with it, because again, with ChatGPT and other AI, you just really want to give it as much context as you can. Act like you're telling your friend who doesn't know anything about something, like all of the things that they need to know about something. Now this I don't like so much, it's just a little basic, it's a little boring. So I'm gonna say this is a little boring, but I like where you're going with it. Can it be a little more elegant? And I don't know if the word elegant is what's tripping it up here. You have to really think of the words that you use with ChatGPT, because you can say something like exciting, and exciting might specifically relate to like 3 colors. The language model has learned that like the colors pink and yellow and blue are exciting, and then suddenly everything that you make will be pink and yellow and blue. So Chatty has given me an updated version of it, and it is basically the exact same thing. So I'm gonna kind of call him out a little bit. And this is actually, I want to change, I'm gonna switch to Chatty 4.0 because I have been having a little bit of trouble with the image generator when it comes to 5.0 or 5. It's just not there yet. So let's say, you didn't change anything. Let's try a hand lettered look to the fonts, with Fantastic being a script and gifts being a hand lettered sans serif. In case you didn't know, a sans serif is actually just a a font that doesn't have these little pushy bits at the edges of everything. It's more like this font down here. Okay, I tried again, and now that I'm thinking about this, I probably should have just thrown this into our craft designer and just used DALL-E, because I probably would have gotten exactly what I wanted the first time. But I've decided I want the fantastic little dude to be sleeping, so I'm gonna say keep the fonts, love those, make the little deer sleepy. Actually, you know what? I like him. I like him where he's at. He's doing his thing. His arms don't necessarily look like they're long enough though. Actually, yeah, we're gonna change it. Hi, I'm Justina and I'm indecisive. So keep the fonts, remove the deer and replace with a little curled up sleeping deer. Okay, so ChatGPT was going a little bit crazy. It was doing too much. I'm a graphic designer myself, so part of me realizes that I could have just pulled out the iPad and drew this, but I really want this whole system to be very, very accessible and not to require the fact that, you know, like I have 10 years of hand lettering experience or anything like that. So this works. It doesn't have to be fancy and crazy. I think the name Fontastic is rememberable enough that if someone's like asking around, they can find me, you know, at like a antique mall, you know, like a little craft booth place. Okay, so now we have an idea of what we want our logo to look like. We have our name, and in the next episode, we're going to start talking about budget and blanks. And I think what we're going to start with is looking at, well, our own area and kind of sourcing what we can get for free, because there's a lot of little resources that we don't think about. And then just kind of branching out and looking at thrift stores and things like that for some blanks. Little things that we can use to try to make this as low budget as we can, while still making quality items, because at the end of the day, that's what people want, is like a good gift that they can give somebody. Also, getting our name down has really helped. Now we can kind of focus our theme of everything on like the gift giving aspect. So maybe we can add in a few little trinkets and features where like it's already wrapped or it comes in a box, things like that. So this can really be like a gift giving business, I guess. So join us next time and we will hit the thrift shops and give a look to some things and just see what we can find to put some things on, and then of course set a budget, because we want to make sure that we're not spending $1,000 and making $500. We really want to, at the end of the day, look at our bottom line. So we'll talk about that in the next episode.